The Search for the Magic Collar. Written and illustrated by John Finch. On a dark night on a dark corner of a dark street, the naughty puppy called Sweepy is waiting to steal Max's magic collar. Max and Scarlett had fallen to sleep, so Sweepy sneaks through Max's window and creeps up to Max's bed, quickly stealing his magic collar. "I've got it!" bellowed Sweepy. Max quickly jumped out of bed. "Who are you? What are you doing with my magic collar? Give it back!" shouted Max. "No, it's mine!" shouted Sweepy as she lifted the magic collar above her head. Electric sparks started shooting out of the magic collar. "Show me the solar system," demanded Sweepy, and with that she disappeared in a puff of smoke. Max quickly ran into Scarlett's bedroom. "Quick, quick, Scarlett, wake up! My magic collar has been stolen!" Scarlett shot out of bed. "Who has stolen it, Max?" Scarlett inquired. "It was that naughty puppy, Sweepy. She vanished to somewhere in something called the solar system. We must get my magic collar back," said Max. Scarlett and Max dashed out of the back door, down the garden to the secret shed. The roof of the shed started to open up, like a butterfly opening its wings for the first time. Once opened, the spaceship flew out from the shed and shot straight up past the clouds and out into space. Inside the spaceship, Max and Scarlett are pressing a lot of colourful buttons. "I love pressing buttons," said Scarlett. Max giggled. "Me too, but where do we start looking for Sweepy and my magic collar?" Max said. He looked at Scarlett with a tear in his eye. "Don't worry, Max, we'll find them. Let's start at the sun," said Scarlett. "The sun? What's the sun?" Max asked with a puzzled look on his face. The spaceship pulls up close to the sun. Max asked the ship's computer, Screeny, "What is that?"
"It is the sun. It gives life to the Earth. Earth would have no life without it,"
replied Screeny. "Why is it so hot?" Max asked.
"Well, the sun is a big ball of very hot gases that burns and gives off heat, which warms us all up and burns you in the summer. That is why you should always cover yourself in sun cream to protect from getting burnt,"
answered Screeny. With the touch of a button, the spaceships flew to the top of the sun. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the bottom of the sun. Sweepy isn't there either. The spaceship flew to the left side of the sun. Still no Sweepy. Finally, the spaceship flew to the right side of the sun. "I can't see Sweepy. She's not at the sun. Where shall we search now, Scarlett?" asked Max. Scarlett turned to Screeny and asked, "What is the nearest planet to the sun, Screeny?"
"The nearest planet to the sun is Mercury,"
answered Screeny. And with a touch of a button, they were on their way to the planet called Mercury. The spaceship pulled up at a small planet that looked a little bit like our own moon.
"Here we are. This is Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. There is no water on the surface. Being so close to the sun, the temperature during the day is scorching, but at night it's freezing,"
said Screeny. "I don't think Sweepy would be here. It's too hot for her. But let's check it out," said Scarlett. The spaceship flew to the top of Mercury. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the bottom of Mercury. Sweepy isn't there either. The spaceship flew to the left side of Mercury. Still no Sweepy. Finally, the spaceship flew to the right side of Mercury. "I can't see Sweep. She's not on Mercury." "What is the next planet?" asked Max. Screeny quickly answers.
"It's called Venus."
And with a push of a couple of buttons, they began the journey to the next planet, Venus. Scarlett informed Max, "My dad told me about this planet. He told me Venus is the brightest planet in the solar system. It can be seen even in the daylight and is known as the evening star." "Wow," said Max. "Screeny, where do the names of the planets come from?" asked Scarlett.
"The planets in the solar system were named after Roman gods. Venus is named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. Venus is the second planet from the sun,"
Screeny answered. "I like space. Can we go down there?" asked Max. "It's far too hot for us down there. Let's fly around to see if we can find Sweepy," said Scarlett. The spaceship flew all around Venus, but Sweepy isn't there. "I can't see Sweepy. She's not on Venus." So with a touch of a button, they were on their way to the next planet. "We know she's not on this planet, Max," said Scarlett. "Do we?" replied Max. "Yes, it's our planet. Planet Earth," replied Scarlett. "Screeny, can you tell Max a little about planet Earth?"
Earth is the third planet from the Sun, and we are in the Goldilocks zone.
"Goldilocks zone? What's that?" asked Max.
Well,
Screeny explained.
The Goldilocks zone means we are just the right distance from the Sun for it to give the Earth and us just enough for us to grow.
"Where shall we go now? Sweepy can't be too far away. Space isn't that big, is it?" Max asked.
It's very big,"
replied Screeny. "Screeny, can you take us to the next planet, please?" requested Max.
To Mars!"
shouted Screeny. With a push of a button, they were on their way to find another planet where the naughty Sweepy could be hiding. Scarlett, Max and Screeny worked together to land the spaceship on the red planet. The door of the spaceship opened. Max and Scarlett stepped out wearing bright pink spacesuits. "I smelled something. Something is coming," said Max. "Is it Sweepy?" asked Scarlett. "No, it's something else,"
"Hello,"
said a robotic voice. Max and Scarlett jumped 6 feet in the air with fright. "Who or what are you?" They both stare at the strange-looking robot, who is also staring back at them.
"My name is Rover. I live here."
said the robot. "Hello, Rover. My name's Scarlett, and this is Max. How long have you lived here?"
It feels like 14 years, 2 months, 25 days, 8 hours, 17 minutes and 6 seconds. Not that I'm counting or anything. I've been here all on my own, all that time, and all there is to do is pick up rocks,"
replied Rover. "Why don't you come with us?" said Max. "Yes, please, come with us. It's not nice being all alone," said Scarlett. Rover lifts up his robotic arms and gives Max and Scarlett a big hug, and with a black oily tear in his eye, he thanked Max and Scarlett.
"All I ever wanted is friends, and now I have 2.
"Have you seen a naughty scruffy puppy around here?" asked Max.
I've only seen rocks on this planet."
replied Rover. Max, Scarlett and Rover walk back to the spaceship. The spaceship flew all around Mars. "I can't see Sweepy, she's not on Mars," and with a touch of a button they were on their way to the next planet in the solar system. The spaceship pulls up to Jupiter.
Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun. It is a giant ball of gas with no solid surface. It is made of very light gases. There is nowhere to stand. We would just go straight through it,"
said Screeny. The spaceship flew to the top of Jupiter. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the bottom of Jupiter. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the left side of Jupiter. Still no Sweepy. Finally, the spaceship flew to the right side of Jupiter. "I can't see Sweepy, she's not on Jupiter." And with a touch of a button, they're on their way to the next planet, continuing their search for the naughty puppy Sweepy.
Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun. It's a big, pale-coloured planet with a big ring all the way around it. It is also a gas giant, just like Jupiter, and if you tried to stand on it, you would just go straight through it,"
said Screeny. The spaceship flew to the top of Saturn. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the bottom of Saturn. Still no Sweepy. The spaceship flew to the left side of Saturn. Sweepy isn't there. "I can't see Sweepy. She's not on Saturn." "What's the 7th planet from the Sun, Screeny?"
"Uranus."
And with a touch of a button, they were on their way to the next planet. "So this is Uranus. It's very blue," said Max.
"That's because it's an ice giant. It's a big planet of ice,"
said Screeny. So the spaceship flew to the top of Uranus. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the bottom of Uranus. Still no Sweepy. The spaceship flew to the left side of Uranus. Sweepy isn't there. And finally, the spaceship flew to the right side of Uranus.
"I can't see Sweepy anywhere."
"We're running out of places to look. We are never going to find my magic collar," Max said, with a whimper in his voice. Don't worry, Max. We will find Sweepy and your magic collar together as friends. Max moved closer to Scarlett and Rover and gave them both a big Max bear hug. Thank you. I don't know what I would do without my friends to help me.
The last planet in our solar system is Neptune, but it's another planet just like Uranus. It's a big blue ice giant,
Screeny said. So with little chance of Sweepy being on this planet, the spaceship quickly flew to the top of Neptune. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the bottom of Neptune. Still no Sweepy. The spaceship flew to the left side of Neptune. No sign of Sweepy there. Finally, the spaceship flew to the right side of Neptune, but Sweepy is nowhere to be seen. But if that's the last planet, where is Sweepy and my magic collar? Max said. All three friends turned to each other with a look of puzzlement on their faces. Look, what's that on your screen? Screeny, is that a planet? Said Scarlett. Screeny took a look at what was showing on his screen and quickly answered.
That's a dwarf planet.
Sweepy must be down there, said Max. And with a push of a button, they're on their way to the dwarf planet called Pluto. The spaceship pulled up at what must be the smallest planet they've seen so far. Here we are, Pluto. The spaceship flew to the top of Pluto. Sweepy isn't there. The spaceship flew to the bottom of Pluto. Still no Sweepy. The spaceship flew to the left side of Pluto. Sweepy can't be seen. Finally, the spaceship flew to the right side of Pluto. There she is! They all shouted at once. Scarlett lands the spaceship on Pluto next to Sweepy. The door of the spaceship opens and Max, Scarlett and Rover walk out to talk to Sweepy. Why did you take my magic collar? Said Max. Sweepy looked at them as her eyes started to fill up with tears, and with a trembling bottom lip she said, I didn't want to take it, but I have no friends. No one likes me. I'm all alone, so I thought it would be better if I ran away. But I'm more lonely now than ever I was. Sweepy, you do have friends, Max said as he put his arms around Sweepy and wiped the tears from her eyes. We are all your friends. You will never be alone again, said Scarlett. Sweepy sniffed and wiped her nose on her hand. Really? She said. Yes, they all said. Sweepy handed over the magic collar to Max and said, Here you go, my friend. I believe this belongs to you. Max, Scarlett, Rover, and the not-so-naughty puppy Sweepy all climbed back into the spaceship and take off all the way back home. By the way, Sweepy, how did you know about my magic collar? Max said to Sweepy. Well, that's a story for another time, replied Sweepy. Max and Scarlett's Adventure, Volume 1, The Search for the Magic Collar, was written and illustrated by John Finch and narrated by Paul Enright King.